Man, I always hate making videos like these. We had done this about Oliver Wahlstrom a few days ago with the New York Islanders, but in this video we're sticking around in the state of New York as we talk about yet another one of these guys who happens to be a younger player and whose entire time with the team may not be going all too well. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal, sorry, this is coming around about you one more time, 10-minute Taylor's version right here, but let's go out there and talk about a former top prospect in the 2019 NHL Draft, Peyton Krebs. Buffalo Sabres guy, 23 years old, 6 feet 187 left-handed guy, initially drafted by the Vegas Golden Knights in the 2019 draft, who eventually was traded over to Buffalo in the Jack Eichel trade, and who is coming off of a very lackluster development path. The reason I say that is because back when he was a 2019 draft-eligible prospect, Peyton Krebs was seen by many people, myself included, as one of the top guys in the draft. He was ranked as highly as 6th overall by some of these scouting outlets. EP had him at 6, Future Considerations had him at 6, McCain's had him at 8, even Bob McKenzie had him at 10, so the fact that he slipped all the way down to number 17 was a pretty big deal. Now, he was, I'd say, maybe one of the best passers in the draft at the time. His motor was really good, and with the Winnipeg Ice, he was a super productive player. Kootenay Ice, back in 2018-19. But as his career went on, after getting traded over to Buffalo, I think a lot of Sabres fans were super optimistic. Hey, we traded away Eichel, we got Tuck, who ended up being very effective, Peyton Krebs is here as well, and then you also have the other assets that were included, the first-round picks and everything in between. It was a big win for Buffalo, right? But for Peyton Krebs, unfortunately, his spot in the Sabres lineup just kind of got worse as his career went on. He started out with 22 points in 48 games played with Buffalo, fantastic production. That dipped to 26 points in 74 games the next year, so he had more points, yes, but in a significantly higher amount of games played. And then this previous season, he only had 17 points in 80 games. 67 penalty minutes on top of that as well. Man, the guy started to show off a little bit of that feistiness to his game, eh? Either way, with all this in mind about Peyton Krebs, what was once seen as a guy who had maybe, let's say, 60, 70 point top 6 potential as a really good penalty killer and leadership guy, now is in a spot where at 23 years old he is declining in points. What I wanted to do in this video was indicate how some may be a little bit more pessimistic about Peyton Krebs when it comes to his profile. Take a look at this piece made on ProHockeyRumors.com by Brennan McLean from August 1st, 2024. It talks about Peyton Krebs, it talks about Parekh, and it talks about the Anaheim Ducks. And what the writer here, McLean, does is he cites a piece made on the Hockey News by Michael Augelot from 15 hours ago. I could go out there and just read the Hockey News piece, but I do like the extra ideas that are brought up in the Pro Hockey Rumors piece, so I'll just leave a link in the description to both. I mean, no harm, no foul, right? Let's go out there and read what McLean writes about here, summarizing the Krebs piece. It's been nearly 3 years since the Buffalo Sabres acquired Peyton Krebs as the centerpiece prospect in a deal that sent franchise icon Jack Eichel to the Vegas Golden Knights. Unfortunately, as things would play out, Krebs has yet to become the player that Buffalo has needed him to be, and he remains the only player on the team without a contract for 24-25. In an article from Michael Augelot of the Hockey News, he asserts that Krebs may have lost a spot in Lindy Ruff's lineup entirely after the Sabres acquired Ryan McLeod, Beck Malenstein, and Sam Lafferty over the offseason. After a poor offensive showing last year, it's difficult to ascertain where exactly Krebs fits into the lineup. He had spent much of last year on Buffalo's fourth line with Eric Robinson and Zemgus Girgensons, where he became akin to an irritating player who lacked offensive punch. There hasn't been much word surrounding negotiation between the Krebs and Sabre parties, but the silence from both sides is becoming noticeable. Krebs shouldn't expect to earn more than his qualifying offer of $874,000 on a new deal with Buffalo, so the lack of a contract may indicate a move is in the making. Augelot opines that the Sabres could look to move Krebs in a deal to acquire Joel Farabee from the Flyers, but his supposed value in that hypothetical feels off base. If Buffalo does move on from Krebs before the start of next year, it will be to a team looking to round out their bottom six for a much milder return. And when it comes to Krebs, man, this sucks. Like, if you had told me 5 years ago in 2019, oh yeah, Krebs drafted first round by Vegas, oh, not only is he not going to be anywhere near an effective Golden Knight, but he's going to go over to Buffalo, and he's not even going to excel there either. He's going to be a bottom six player who doesn't produce any points, and now, like, they're thinking about trading him, or he's not really fitting into the lineup? I mean, Peyton Krebs, man. If there was anybody that I had such high expectations for to be somewhat of a steal, it was him. It was Caulfield, it was Newhook, it was Krebs. Guys that I kind of had in my top 10, but Caulfield slipped over to 15, Newhook to 16, and Krebs to 17. Kind of funny how that works out, right? The smaller guys with goal scoring and offensive flair slipping down to the mid-teens there, but either way, aside Cole Caulfield, I mean, he's been pretty good. Newhook, I think, still has a little bit more to go through and show for at the NHL level. Krebs, however, he is way more. A lot more. So much more potential out of him. I'd say that when it comes to the three WHL guys in 2019, there was always sort of this competition. People were talking about who was going to be better. Oh, Krebs, Doc, or Cousins. Which one of these three is going to have the better career? And you could have legitimately made an argument for all three of them. The irony was, though, that Dylan Cousins and Peyton Krebs are now on the same team. Cousins is a monster. He is so good. Kirby Dach had injury issues, so I don't know if it's all too fair to bring him up in these conversations anymore. But Krebs, darn it, man, Krebs, if it's gotten to this point now where he is no longer even seen as a potential elite prospect, okay, maybe not prospect, he's 23 years old and he's had 3 seasons in the NHL, but a guy who has elite potential. If he rounds out as just an energy bottom 6 guy and that playmaking and offensive flair that he had in his junior days doesn't translate at all, then I'm gonna feel so bad for the guy, man. Like, he had so much hype behind him. And it's not even like in other levels he wasn't producing. He was doing very well. In all of the AHL stints that he had in Rochester and in Henderson in 21-22, he was over a point per game in all of his AHL time combined. So this is certainly a player that has potential. It's just if Lindy Ruff is not using him, then I don't know what's going to happen next, eh? Package him in a deal to the Philadelphia Flyers? Who really knows? I don't know if Philadelphia can fix him. Actually, you know what? When I think about that, I think that John Tortorella and his system would actually work very well with what it is that Peyton Krebs excels at as a player. Or if you wanted to go the entire balls to the wall angle, Peyton Krebs and that playmaking ability, ooh, give him Matvei Mishkov on his other wing. That sounds like a really great idea. Joel Farabee, though, coming back as a return, I think is a little bit too much. I mean, Krebs, his value is doggone down there into the bottom of the barrel, so I don't think you're going to be able to get a player like that in exchange. But either way, if you're a Buffalo Sabres fan, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments. What's going on with this dude? What happened? Peyton Krebs used to be this elite prospect, and now he's a bottom 6 grinder? You got Sam Lafferty now. You got Beck Mallenstein. Those guys are bottom 6 grinders, and they're probably better, I would say, at being a bottom 6 grinder than I would have ever guessed Peyton Krebs would have been able to be. So I think at this point there has to be some sort of a retribution or a trade or a something to give Krebs that opportunity to be better. But then again, it's like, hey, he's not good enough to crack the Buffalo top 6. What does that say about him as a player? I don't know, man. It's a paradox. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If this is as concerning as I think it is, because the Oliver Wahlstrom stuff from a few days ago with the Islanders was concerning. I saw a lot of people kind of talk about that, but others were saying, no, I mean, the guy just kind of overstayed his welcome, whatever. Like, there was controversy there, and there was a discussion to be had. Is it the same here with Peyton Krebs? Is there just a lack of optimism with him and his profile? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.